Paul and Silas sang from shackles. This is one of those stories in the Bible that just makes me smile as a singer, as one who loves to worship. Acts chapter 16, verses 16 through 34 is where we can find the story, and I encourage you to read the whole thing. This is an incredible story all the way around. There's so much to read here, but verse 25 is where Paul and Silas make the decision to give their praise in the face of their bruised, beaten bodies, the shackles around them, and being sent to an inner dungeon for extra precautions preventing their escape. They chose to praise and pray anyway, right from where they found themselves. Their offering of love and loyalty to the Lord paved the way for not only a miracle that affected every single prisoner, as verse 26 says, but also ministering to and furthering the gospel message of Christ to an entire household. Our praise is powerful. Our worship is powerful. Yet here I found myself on vocal rest waiting for healing. Earlier that day, I had tried to power through praise. This is what worked last time. Last time I was under and was trying to breathe, I sang my way through that sickness. I felt God powerfully in my backyard as I sang His word with everything in me, and I was able to breathe a year ago. And here I was, a year later, doing what I knew to do, and it aggravated my issue even more, and I was instructed to go on vocal rest. So here I sat in the same backyard, with hands and heart full of questions. I know God saw my faith to push through and sing and believe in faith for healing in that moment, despite the outcome that day. I know He saw my tears, because I know He counts our tears, every single one of them. His word says in Psalm 56, verse 8, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Let's just say I added a chapter or two to mine through this experience. But God sees our reaches for Him. He sees every reach for Him that we make. He sees our hopes, and He sees our broken hearts, weighing with disappointment, weighing with grief of loss. So whether we can sing or not, and whether we can speak or not, God sees us and our reaches for Him. There's a passage in 1 Samuel chapter 1 that tells of a prayer that comes to mind right now. This prayer is made by a woman named Hannah. Hannah was without child, and even worse, she was taunted and made fun of for this, year after year. We pick up the story in verse 9, and verse 12 and 13 is what resonates in my heart. It says, "As she was praying to the Lord, Eli, the priest on duty at the temple, watched her, seeing her lips moving, but hearing no sound." And you can keep reading till verse 18. But to sum this up, it was a prayer where Hannah's lips were moving, but no sound was heard. God, even when we can't make a sound, You are there, and You know our hearts. God hears the words of our hearts, whether spoken out loud, in whisper, or in silence. He is not limited by how we come to Him. His heart is moved that we come to Him. Even if we are limping in weakness or heavy weighted with the burdens of our days, He is not limited by how we come. Let's come to Him today, bringing everything we carry, everything we're wearing that's weighing down our hearts, so we can trade all of it for Jesus and everything He gives. Isaiah 61:3 says that Jesus promises to console those who mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they may be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified. He is not limited by how we come. And our praise, whether out loud or in silence, our praise is treasured by him. He is with us in every moment. Every time we look his way, he's right there with us. He is not limited by how we come. Let's make that decision today, together, that we will continue to choose him despite where we find ourselves. Let's come to him.